Today, I'm going to continue our ongoing project that I started last month to highlight Americans born into slavery through quotes and stories shared through the Slave Narratives, the National Slave Narrative Project, which again is free online and an incredible wealth of information. Today, I will be sharing the quotes of four women who were born into American slavery. Am I in frame? Please make sure. Cool. Okay. First, I want to start with Charity Austin of 507 South Bloodworth Street, Raleigh, North Carolina. This is from her interview. I did general housework and helped raise children during slavery and right after the war. Then you had to depend on yourself to do for children. You had to doctor and care for them yourself. You had to completely depend on yourself. This quote is from Sarah Louise Augustus from 1424 Lane Street, Raleigh, North Carolina. There are only a few of the old white folks who have always been good to me living now, but I'm still working with their offspring, among whom I have some mighty dear friends. I was about 8 years old when Sherman's army came through. Guess I'm about 80 years of age now. This is from Cornelia Andrews of Smithfield, Johnston County. While I could remember they'd sell the mammies away from the babies, and there was no crying about what the master would do, one way or the other. Why? Because you'd get beat, that's why. Was I ever beat bad? No, ma'am, I wasn't. In parentheses, here, the daughter, a graduate student of Cornell University, who was in the room listening, came forward. Open your shirt, mammy, and let the lady judge for herself. The old lady's eyes flashed as she sat bolt upright. She seemed ashamed, but the daughter took off the shirt, exposing the back and shoulders, which were marked as though branded with a plated cowhide whip. There was no doubt about that at all. I was whipped in public, she said tonelessly, for breaking dishes and for being slow. I was at Miss Carrington's den, and it was just before the close of the war. I was in the dishes washing, and I dropped one. Mr. Blount King, the patroller, and he puts the whipping, and you see the marks on me. A friend of the interview, who was present, remarked, "That must have been horrible to say the least." She responded, "You don't know nothing." The last person I am going to quote, I hope I got this name right, is Princess Quango Hennadonah Perceriah of 1110 Oakwood Avenue, Raleigh, North Carolina. This is a quote from her interview. The most colorful incident of my life happened when I met Quango Hennadonah Perceriah, an Abyssinian prince who was traveling and lecturing on the customs of his country and the habits of its people. Our mutual interest caused our friendship to ripen fast, and when the time of parting came, when each of us had finished our work in Massachusetts, him going back to his home in New York City and I returning to Richmond, he asked me to correspond with him. I promised to do so, and our friendship, after a year's correspondence, became love, and he proposed and I accepted him. We were married in Raleigh by Reverend J.J. Words, pastor of the First Baptist Church, Colored. P.T. Barnum, bringing back to earlier thing, and trust me, it is just as bad as everything else we've heard about him. P.T. Barnum had captured my husband when he was a boy and brought him to America from Abyssinia, educated him, and then sent him back to his native country. He would not stay and was soon in America again. He was of Catholic faith in America, and they conferred the honor of priesthood upon him. But after he married me, this priesthood was taken away, and he joined the Episcopal Church. After we were married, we decided to go on an extensive lecture tour. He had been a headsman in his own country and a prince. We took the customs of his people and his experiences as the subject of our lectures. I could sing, play the guitar, violin, and piano, but I did not know his native language. He began to teach me as soon as I could, and I would sing the song, How Firm a Foundation. We traveled and lectured in both the North and South, and our life while we had to work hard, was one of happiness and contentment. I traveled and lectured as Princess Quango Hennadonah Perceriah, wife of the Abyssinian prince. I often recited the recitation written by the colored poet Paul Laurence Dunbar, When Melinda Sings, to the delight of all of our audiences. Thank you. As for previous weeks, I believe those words speak for themselves. They speak to the number of dimensions these Americans have that we often leave out. And they simply speak to how accessible this information is and their perspectives are and how much we can highlight them when we put in the work. Thank you. I will see you next month to share some more.